Well, hello and welcome to another Digimon TCG deck profile. I just came back from the Store Regionals at my local game store, where I decided to take it back to BT14 and play Fenriloogamon. And the reason I decided to play Fenriloogamon is because I don't think it has a lot of bad matchups against the currently meta and top decks. It doesn't care about Gauntmon X antibodies protection, because you can play when the memory is at your opponent's side, unless of course your opponent just beats you before you get a chance to play. I swear whoever thought of putting that unsuspend effect on Gauntmon X antibodies. Also in my playtesting, it didn't have a bad matchup against Armor Rush or Green Blue Imperial Drummond. It also doesn't struggle against some newer decks like Galactimon, because you can just run over it. The only bad matchups I can think of is probably Sakuyamon if your opponent gets to Shine Greymon Burst mode and gives your entire field minus 10,000 DP, because nothing in this deck except for Fenriloogamon itself has over 10,000 DP. And also Virus Imperial Drummond, because it can prevent you from playing Digimon by effects, which Fenriloogamon tends to do. But other than that, I don't think there are any decks Fenriloogamon particularly struggles with. So that's why I decided to play it in the Store Regionals. And I'll tell you later how it went. First, let's get to the deck profile. For the DigiX, of course I play 4 copies of the BT14 Balmon, which when you discard a Digimon with the Dark Animal or SOC trait, allows you to Digimon your Digimon on the field into that Digimon for its evolution cost. And since you do a lot of discarding in this deck, it allows you to climb up from your level 3 all the way up to your level 6 in one turn, because it's not once per turn. So yeah, that's it for the DigiX. For the level 3s I play 4 copies of the BT14 Loogamon, which is still the best rookie in the deck. It allows you to, at the start of your main phase, put an Eiji Nagasumi from your hand or trash under it to gain 1 memory, which is a great and easy way to get your tamers under your Digimon without having to actually play them first. And it also has the inherited effect that once per turn during your turn when you play a card with the Dark Animal or SOC trait you gain a memory. Then I play 4 copies of the BT20 Loogamon, which is another double searcher for the deck. It has the on-play effect to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can add 1 card with the SOC or Seeker traits and 1 Eiji Nagasumi among them to your hand and return the rest to the bottom of your deck. And its inherited effect is that during your turn this Digimon gains 2000 DP. So we got another consistency boost for the deck, which is always welcome. Speaking of consistency, finally for the level 3s I play 4 copies of the BT16 Ukomon, which cost 1 memory to evolve on top of any level 2, but honestly that 1 memory is worth it for its effect. Which says during your turn, once per turn, when one of your Digimon is moved from the breeding area to the battle area, you can reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add 1 Digimon or Tamer among them and return the rest to the bottom of the deck. And then you can hatch a Digi-Egg. And of course it also works when it itself is moved from the breeding area to the battle area. So that's one other boost to the consistency of the deck, and it's also free trade, which comes in handy in combination with a card we'll talk about later. And yeah, that's it for the level 3s. For the level 4s I play 4 copies of the BT14 Lugarmon, which has the when attacking effect. By trashing 1 card in your hand you can draw 1 card, and if Eiji Nagasumi is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards you gain 1 memory, which is a great effect to have if you're a little short on memory, and it also discards a card. And of course if you have Balmon in your evolution sources, you can discard a level 5 and evolve straight into it. And it also has the same inherited effect as the BT14 Lugamon, which gains you a memory when you play a card with the SOC or Dark Animal trait, which is another good way to keep your turn going. Next is 3 copies of the BT15 Lugarmon, which has the when Digivolving and when attacking effect that allows you to trash 1 card in your hand to give this Digimon plus 2000 DP for the turn. And if you have a Tamer with the SOC trait in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you draw 1 card. This is a good way to boost your DP if your opponent has something really big you have to get over. Not to mention it can draw you 2 additional cards if you use its effect when you Digivolve and when you attack with it. And it's also red in addition to purple, which also helps with that certain card I mentioned before. And its inherited effect is that at the end of the attack once per turn, if your opponent has 1 or more memory, you gain 1 memory. Finally for the SOC level 4s I play 2 copies of the BT15 Tyrannomon, which is a blocker and also has the on-play searching effect, but it reveals the top 4 cards of your deck, and it allows you to add a Digimon and a Tamer among them to your hand, which have the SOC trait of course. The rest are returned to the bottom of your deck, and then you discard 1 card from your hand. which also helps with your trash setup, and that's also pretty important in the deck. And for some tech choice in level 4s, I play one copy of Black Gatomon with Rush, which can help you finish off games, since it has the Dark Animal trait, so you can play it with your other Digimon effects. And I also play one copy of Black Gatomon Uber, which has the security effect that at the end of the battle it is played at no cost, and a non-play effect, which allows you to return one Digimon card from your opponent's trash to the bottom of their deck to draw one card. And I played it in case I ran into a Leviamon deck or something that's reliant on the trash. And also because it gets you another body if it's checked in security. And that's it for the level 4s. For the level 5s I play 4 copies of the BT16 Fenriloogamon, which has the when Digivolving effect that lets you trash 2 cards from your hand and delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or lower. And if this effect didn't delete anything, you can play one level 4 or lower SOC trait Digimon card from your trash without paying the cost, which is a good way to get rid of any Floodgate rookies that your opponent might have that hinders you, or any other Digimon with 6000 DP or less. And even if you didn't delete anything, you can get another body on the field. Also, it has the own turns effect when one of your other SOC trait Digimon is deleted. If this Digimon has a Tamer with the SOC trait in its Digivolution cards, it can Digivolve into a Fenriloogamon in your trash without paying the cost, which doesn't come up that often, since you would usually Digivolve into Fenriloogamon after using its when Digivolving effect. And its inherited effect is that at the end of the attack once per turn, if your opponent has one or more memory, unsuspend this Digimon, which really helps with the OTK potential of the deck. And that was actually the main angle I was going for when constructing the deck. So yeah, good card. I also played 2 copies of the BT14 Fenriloogamon, which has the when Digivolving effect, that allows you to play one level 3 or lower Digimon card with the Dark Animal or SOC trait from your trash. And if it has Eiji Nagasumi in the Digivolution, cards, you can add 1 to the level it can revive, so you can play a level 4 instead if you have Eiji. And it also has the when attacking effect. By trashing 1 card in your hand, gain 1 memory. So it gets you additional bodies on the field, and it also gives you a memory so your turn doesn't end if it normally would. The only reason I'm not maxing out on it is because it doesn't have an effect to trash a card when you Digivolve into it. Because normally you would evolve into a level 5 by trashing it from your hand with one of your level 4's when attacking effects, and then evolve into it from the trash with Baumon's effect. And since the attack was already declared at that point, you can't use this Fenriloogamon's when attacking effect if you evolve into it that way. Unless of course you revive Tyrannomon from the trash, but that requires some setup so it's not that reliable. And its inherited effect is that during your turn once per turn, when you play a card with Dark Animal or SOC trait, you may unsuspend this Digimon. And unsuspending your level 6 is always great. Next I play one copy of the BT14 Fenriloogamon, which has the end of your turn effect to delete this Digimon and draw 2 cards. And then you may return one Loogamon from your trash to the hand. Also on deletion, you may trash up to 3 cards with the Dark Animal or SOC trait in your hand to delete one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon, but for each card you discarded, add 1 to the maximum level this can delete, which is great for setting up your trash and getting rid of any of your opponent's problematic Digimon that are from level 3 to level 6. And finally for the level 5s, I play 2 copies of the BT16 Dinobemon, which is the card I alluded to before. It can DNA Digimon from a purple level 4 and a red level 4 Digimon, which there are plenty of in the deck so you don't have any problems with the DNA Digivolving into it. It has Raid and Partition, and a when Digivolving effect which says if it's DNA Digivolved, you may play one level 5 or lower Digimon card with the free trait from your trash without paying the cost. Then one of your Digimon gains Rush for the turn and may attack a player. So if you DNA Digivolve into it, it gives you 2 additional attacks on its own. It itself can attack because it doesn't have summoning sickness when DNA Digivolving, and it can also bring back a copy of itself or Ukomon from the trash, or give it or any of your other Digimon that you have that have summoning sickness Rush and attack with it. So it's a great way to finish off games. And it also has the Partition inherited effect for 2 level 4s. So if you evolve it into a Fenriloogamon and you didn't finish off the game, if somehow your opponent gets rid of it, you get 2 additional bodies back, which gives you a chance at a comeback. But most of the time when you play this card, the game is over. And yeah, that's it for the level 5s. And finally for the Digimon, I play 4 copies of the BT14 Fenriloogamon. And this card is a beast. It costs 4 to evolve over on level 5, which will most likely then not move the memory gauge to your opponent's side. But don't fret, because it has the effect to make the turn end condition into your opponent having 3 or more memory. So even if you move the memory gauge to 1 or 2 on your opponent's side, your turn is still not over. It also has the when Digivolving effect that allows you to play one level 4 or lower card with the Dark Animal or SOC trait from your trash without paying the cost. But if Eiji Nagasumi is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, add 2 to the number of cards this effect may play. So it can spam the board with any Digimon you may need, provided it is in your trash. But as you've seen with all the trashing effects, that's not too hard to do in the deck. And also when attacking once per turn by deleting one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon, you may unsuspend this Digimon. But for each of your Digimon add 1 to the level this effect may delete. And since it doesn't mention other Digimon, it means you can basically delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon, since it also counts itself. So yeah, you have unsuspending for days. Well, okay, it's not for days, but 2 unsuspends per turn, that's pretty good. And yeah, basically when you get to this Digimon and your turn doesn't end after one attack, you can pretty easily OTK. And if some of you are still unfamiliar with the deck and are confused as to how you can OTK with only 3 attacks, just wait till we get to the Tamers. Speaking of, I played 3 copies of Code Cracker Fang from BT17, which has the standard security effect of any tamer that allows you to play it without paying the cost. It's also a memory setter, and with its main effect you can mind link it with one of your Dark Animal or SOC trait Digimon, meaning you put it as the bottom Digivolution card of one of your Digimon that doesn't already have a tamer under it. Right, also important to note that its name is always treated as Eiji Nagasumi, which as mentioned before is important to proc some of your Digimon's effects. And the inherited effect it provides is that if this Digimon has a Dark Animal or SOC trait, it gains Alliance and Blocker. And Alliance, as we know by now, allows you to suspend one of your other Digimon to give your attacking Digimon +1 security attack and the suspended Digimon's DP. So yeah, that's how you OTK with only 3 attacks on Fenriloogamon. Meaning it can OTK by itself if you already checked one security card before and your opponent didn't recover anything, or you can clear the security with Fenriloogamon and then attack for game with either Black Gatomon, Dino Beamon, or whatever you played with Dino Beamon. Or maybe you had another Digimon from the turn before so you can attack your game with it. What I'm saying is if you get to Fenriloogamon and it doesn't end your turn, you pretty much winning the game. Which is also provided by the other AG I play, which is 3 copies of called Cracker Fang and Hacker Judge, which is always treated as Eiji Nagasumi or Leon Alexander because it's a dual tamer. It also costs 4 memory to play as called Cracker Fang, and at the start of your main phase if your opponent has a Digimon you gain 1 memory. And to initiate Mind Link with this tamer, you have to either play a Digimon or Digivolve into one, so you can't just do it whenever you like, unless you use Lugamon's effect to put it under your Digimon. But yeah, this is the preferable tamer to have under your Digimon, because it gives your Digimon Alliance, Piercing and Barrier. So even if you swing into your opponent's Digimon you can still check security. And if by some miracle you check something that has more DP than Fenriloogamon after Alliance, it has Barrier to protect it. So yeah, pretty busted card, I like it. And also they both have end of long turns effect that says you may play 1 Eiji Nagasumi from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. And finally for the tamers, I play 4 copies of Analog Youth, which is another great way of searching any pieces you might be missing and filling up your trash. So yeah, that's it for the tamers. And for the options I play 4 copies of Wisdom Training, which again allows you to search any pieces you might be missing, adding to the consistency of the deck, and it helps when you get to go into a level 4 for free, if you didn't have a memory setter and you're a bit scrapped for memory. This may make the difference that you go from your level 4 to your level 6 without ending your turn. Right, that's it for the deck profile, now let me tell you how it went down. And yeah, because this was a regional, I didn't get a chance to film anything this time, so here's some kinda related DCGO gameplay in the background. Anyway, my first round was against Dynamon, and I won that one 2-1. I could have gone for a 2-0 win, but I misplayed hard in the second round. Luckily I redeemed myself in the third one. But yeah, this was another favorable matchup for me, since if I set up everything right, I can run over a suspended Dynamon twice in the same turn. Its effect when suspended doesn't really do much against Fenriloogamon, since the new AG provides piercing. Also, Dynamon can't delete Fenriloogamon with its own play effect if I have something else suspended for Alliance. So the main issue here was setting up everything before my opponent managed to clean me out, and fortunately I managed to do it. The second round was against Armor Rush, which I also won 2-1. I think I only lost the first game since I didn't get to assemble everything in time, and I didn't have a memory setter, so my opponent managed to choke me, which didn't help at all. But the next 2 rounds I got everything I needed on time, and in the third round I even managed to play around a 30,000 DP Magnamon X antibody, with the help of Fenriloogamon's board spamming effect, after which I could go into Dinobemon, which got me a Nukomon back from trash and I gave it rush and attack with it. My opponent decided to block that. Next I attacked with Fenriloogamon, clearing his last remaining security cards with Alliance, at which point Magnamon unsuspended, and so did Fenriloogamon at the end of the attack because of Sollugarmon. Next I attacked directly with Dinobemon, which my opponent was forced to block, and again attacked directly with Fenriloogamon, winning me the game. The third match was against Purple Hybrid, which was my first loss, at 1-2. I lost the first game because my opponent just opened the nuts, and he managed to clear all my security in a single turn, and on the following turn I couldn't do anything to stop him from finishing the game. Next game I finished all my setup before he could, so I OTK'd him. And the third game was pretty funny. It went back and forth for a bit, we both were just setting up, and when I got all my pieces I decided to go for it. My opponent at that point had 3 security cards. I won from level 4 all the way up to Fenriloogamon in a single attack, putting the memory at 2 on my opponent's side, so it would still be my turn. But one of the cards I checked in the security was BT7 Koichi Kimura, which got played. My opponent drew a card and discarded a Nidhoggmon, which got him 1 memory, and he also had the starter deck Matt, which he suspended to gain another memory, so my turn was finished prematurely. And on the next turn, since I was also low on security, he just managed to finish the game. So yeah, luck wasn't on my side on this one. Still pretty funny though. The fourth round was against Galactimon, and this one I also lost 2-0, mostly because I just didn't draw what I needed. My opening hands were great, but the draws after that were just terrible. And have you read Ragnarok Cannon? That card is the reason I lost the match. So my record is 2-2 after 4 matches, and my next match was against Galactimon again. And this time I redeemed myself and won 2-0. The first round was a bit of a slog, because neither me or my opponent could get to the cards we needed, and at one point my opponent revealed 3 Ragnarok Cannons with the 1 Vemmon that couldn't search them, and he had to return them to the bottom of the deck. And yeah, he only played 3, which gave me time to get to all my pieces, and there's nothing he could do after that. And the next game I got everything I needed pretty early on, so I finished the game quite easily. And the final round was against Blue and Green Imperial Dramon, which I also lost 2-0. Not because it's a particularly bad matchup for me, but because I bricked hard both games. I even had to play some level 5s to just have a chance to do something the next turn, but since they had no sources, my opponent just got rid of them, and then just finished the game in some 2 or 3 turns. So yeah, not very lucky on that one either. And that was my experience at the Store Regionals. I believe the deck performed okay, but the one factor you can't influence stopped me from doing better. Luck. Man, I really need to learn how to shuffle better. Of course, it might have also been a deck building issue, except that Purple Hybrid game, that was pure luck. But yeah, feel free to give me any advice to improve the deck if you have an idea. And fortunately, after my 3-3 record, I still managed to barely get a top 16 finish, which made me eligible for some prizing, which I still didn't get because Bandai. And yeah, that's my experience from the Store Regionals, and I still believe Fenriloogamon is a deck that could work this format. In theory at least. In practice it has a 50% success rate. Still, it should be a deck that you have in consideration in the upcoming events this format. And with that being said, hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time. Bye!